This will probably turn out to be a nasty game. On the surface, it looks very similar to the usual tales. However, there's no respect given to the true main character of this tale. This tale was supposed to be the one that the Golden Witch Beatrice invited Uchirumi Battler to see. However, the host has been lost and there are no longer any guests. The one who did the inviting and the one who was invited are no longer around in this horrible tale. Welcome to the 5th game, End of the Golden Witch. Welcome to the banquet without the guest of honor, which has been hijacked by evil witches.
いいバトラー、いよいよ2日目を始めるわよ。私はベアトみたいにトロい展開は嫌いなんだから。
好きにしやがれ。お前が何をかき回そうと。俺は必ずこのゲームの真相にたどり着いてやる。
そうでなくては困ります。妹さんのためにもしっかり戦わなくちゃ。ご安心を。ラムダデルタ卿はベアトリーチェのマヌケと違い、はるかに恐ろしい相手ですが、私がしっかりサポートするので問題ありません。私と一緒に今度こそ魔女幻想を暴いてやろうではありませんか。
お前なんか知らねえ。ベアとのゲームにいなかった存在など俺は認めもしないし必要ともしない。
強がり言ってる場合ですか。まあお互いせいぜい頑張りましょう。一緒に魔女幻想であらを引き裂いてやりましょう。
Erika acted as though she was asking me to shake her hand. Instead of just passively ignoring this, I'd backhand the shit out of her. I gave her an active and clear answer by knocking her hand aside.
握手は嫌いだそうよ。エンジェと同じなのね。ご安心を。私はエンジェよりはるかに役立つ駒ですので。
That's just wrong.
バトラさんの闘志を回復する以外、何もできなかったひき肉とはわけが違います。
You're fucking great.
頼もしそうな仲間に恵まれて嬉しいわね。かつてはワルギリアにロノンでエンジェまで来てくれたわ。そしてとうとうベルにエリカまで。あんたを応援してくれる駒たちはこんなにもたくさん。それでも未だに真相の尻尾すらつかめない無能っぷりってどんな気持ち？どんな気持ち？
関係ねえな。これは俺とベアとの戦いだ。その他の誰であろうと関係ねえ。
ああ、そうなの。やっと独り立ち。いっつも誰かに助けられ情けをかけられてばかりのあんたがどこまで一人でできるやら楽しませてもらうわ。
取り戻すぜ。これは俺たちのゲームだ。お前たちはお呼びじゃね
え。ええ、そうよね。これはあなたたちのゲームだわ。なら取り戻してごらんなさいよ。手加減だらけだったベアとのゲームさえ勝てなかったあんたが、誰の助けもなく一切の容赦のないラムダのゲームをどこまで戦えるのか。
Easily.
ではお目覚めなさい、後ろ宮バトラー。ようこそ10月5日の朝へ。
Time to fucking put this witch in her place and solve everything. Was there someone's alarm clock? An electronic tone repeatedly rang out through the room. Battler, who had gone to bed late and not managed to get enough sleep, covered his head in his blanket and waited for someone to turn off the alarm. But no matter how much time had passed, the electronic tone didn't stop. I see. The point of an alarm clock isn't just to be loud enough to wake you, but to be annoying enough to keep you from wanting to fall back asleep. Hey, the alarm's going off. Make it stop, please. Why do waking up voices always get this annoyed? Well, it does make sense. After all, people are still sleepy and in a bad mood. However, there was absolutely no sign that my annoyed voice had caused anyone to turn over in their sleep or crawl out of bed to stop the alarm. Letting out a deep sigh, I stumbled to my feet. With the shutters down on the window, there was almost no light getting in, and the room was as dim as it had been earlier. Though even if the shutters weren't down, there's no way that this dull weather would let in enough sun to make this a pleasant morning. The cousins were still wrapped up in their beds, sound asleep, and taking no notice whatsoever of that beeping. Normally, once any one person gets up, the others tend to automatically follow. Annoyed that this law of serial summer camp awakenings that I just made up had been broken, I searched for the source of the sound. No, that's how it always fucking works. Once someone wakes up, it's like everyone else happens to wake up like within the next like 10 minutes. That's just how it always fucking works. Always is. Except whenever I wake up and it's like, okay, I'm gonna sit here for the next 5 hours before someone wakes up because I don't get that much sleep and I'm fine. I could hear it coming from the wristwatch set on a table. Judging by the style of watch, it was probably George's. Anyway, when I randomly pushed a small button on the side of it, the sound stopped. Apparently it had been set for 7 in the morning. Is it already 7? Sorry, but I don't feel like I slept at all. Playing cards were left on the table as though they had stopped mid-game. The game had already probably been 7s. Oh my god. Damon, I got this piercing headache. What the hell happened last night? The amount of gold in the subsequent argument between the relatives. It feels like a bad dream. Breakfast normally came at 8. Now wasn't a bad time to start getting up and getting dressed, even though those adults probably wouldn't argue in front of the cousins. In that case, I'll stay with all my cousins all day long. I'm sure they'll be able to separate me from all this annoying talk about the golden being the successor and all. In fact, I should have done this from the beginning. I felt disgusting having slept with my clothes on last night, which caused me to get all sweaty. I guess I'll take a shower. I'm sure the others want one too. At this age, it's embarrassing to wake them up by shaking their shoulders. If I turn on the TV, everyone will probably wake up. Well, let's at least turn the lights on for now. In this dim light, with the quiet sound of the continuing wind and rain, it really doesn't feel like morning has come yet. I flicked the light switch, and then that dimly lit morning ended. Oh, shit! Oh, George. I'm so glad I didn't fucking die at night. Oh, this is actually the first time he's died before his parents. Except Ava. I mean both. As they clung to George's corpse, which would never wake up again, Ava and Hideyoshi cried. Oh, has he been dead like this entire time? Fuck. Wonder how long he's been dead. It's morbid to think, but let me guess, Nanjo? Yeah, he's dead. See that blood coming out of his mouth? Dead. Okay. Still renewing my claim that no parent would kill their child. Even when Ava tried even hard to cling to that corpse, Dad and Hideyoshi dragged her away and had a heated debate with her besides the bed. Debate? What's there to fucking debate? What the hell? What are they gonna debate with her? Oh, you know what? You really need to... Like, is it the debate to have Nanjo look at him? I mean... I don't know. I don't think there's much room to debate someone in this kind of situation. Oh, I was trying to, but you were in the way. Okay, sure, I have the equipment for that. Well, yes, P.S. before anyone says it, yes, I know she's just grieving and throwing up any kind of suggestion that possibly save her child. I understand that. Before someone takes that too literally.
エヴァさん、お気の毒だが、今のジョージ君に必要なのはあなたの血ではないのです。
Dr. Nandra shook his head slightly, then nodded across to where I stood, giving me a signal. Well, I mean, the blood looks pretty fucking dry. I softly pulled the blanket off, covering George's corpse. His neck was split wide open. Okay, yeah. Where's there does someone really wonder if he... It was probably larger and deeper than his mouth. Ah. Would it have looked like a clean and neat corpse if that part had been covered up? Of course not. The large amount of blood which had poured out stained the bed a horrible red and black. And even covering him with a blanket couldn't hide the traces left by the blood which had leaked out. After all, there was even large red stains on the blanket. And covering him with it made this corpse even look more gruesome, so I stripped the blanket off my bed and placed it on top of the first one. But there's only 2 extra blankets, so if we covered one or more of the corpses, we wouldn't be able to cover up any more. Felt bad about the ones we couldn't cover. But for some reason, times like these make me feel like muttering, "Don't complain about it being unfair," inside my head. Wait, is Maria dead as well? Kyrie and I covered the corpses up to their heads with the blankets just like George's, so that they wouldn't have undergone any more shame with their terrible wounds exposed like this. I don't remember who was dead. It's been a while. I knew Jessica was, and that's the one that stood out the most to me. And why I proclaimed that Natsui's innocent. In one bed rested Jessica. Jessica was exactly the same as George, though she appeared to be resting quietly in the bed. Her neck had been sliced deep and would lay open in a brutal way. And Maria was the same. Not only Maria, there was one more victim. Lying on the same bed as though they had been sleeping alongside each other was Rosa. Oh. George, Jessica, Maria, and Rosa. In this room were 4 humans who had been killed, their necks sliced open. God. I mean, it's nice that they're laid together, but holy shit, that's dark. The direct cause of death is unknown, but his neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. I guess I can guess what the cause of death was. I mean, unless he was poisoned and then cut later, it just wouldn't make sense. But there was blood coming out of his mouth, so it indicates he was probably alive. Because if his head's elevated and he's already dead by that point, it was the knife cut that killed her. Her neck was sliced open. That wound was deep enough anyone could easily confirm her death with absolute certainty. Absolute certainty. Direct cause of death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. Jesus. They'd probably been like that since last night. Oh, that's dark to think about. I'd returned without noticing, gotten in bed, and fallen asleep. Oh god, I would freak my shit. All of them had a horizontal cut across their throats. They'd been forced to see all the way, into the depths of those gashes in everyone's throats. I had been forced. At worst, the wound might have been deep enough to stretch halfway through their necks. If you tried to open it, you would probably be able to see the gash reach all the way to the bone. Okay, that's enough of detail. I don't need any more detail. The only wounds were the single gashes on their neck, so if you could cover their necks with your hand, you might be able to persuade yourself that they were merely sleeping. But even so, this frighteningly deep wound was incredibly gruesome. There's no such thing as clean or dirty ways of killing. All methods of killing are equally brutal. That's not true. That's just inherently not true. There's definitely more brutal ways to die than others. If you get, shot in the head and in just an instant kill, it's not as brutal as having your limbs torn off. That's a little bit more brutal. Death is, I would say that killing is horrible in either way. There's no clean way or dirty way to kill someone in that sense, but method is different. Killing is always dirty, but the method can either be clean or dirty. But even so, this was horribly gruesome. And there was one more thing which adorned these brutal murders to make them even more unsettling. A letter? Ah, okay. Drawn very large on the wall was something like an eerie magic circle. It was drawn in a bright red paint which looked like blood. Oh, that's why they said Battler's not the culprit. Because it would have been easy just to say, well, Battler's the culprit right here. It's really easy to, but it could be Nanjo. Just saying, could be Nanjo. It made it look as though some creepy ceremony had taken place in this room, with the four of them offered as human sacrifices. However, that wasn't what we were concerned about. No one has a heart so cold that they could witness the deaths of those close to them, and still worry about some scribbles on the wall. Hello? Oh, Jesus.
おはようございます、皆さん。
Really not the time.
おや、これは立派な魔法陣で。
Really the wrong timing. The girl who bragged that she drew more pleasure from the process of exposing truth rather than the truth itself, and who went so far as to call herself an intellectual rapist, appeared in the hall. When she saw the extraordinarily creepy magic circle in this gruesome room, I heard that what was unsaid, unmistakably a sigh of admiration escape her lips.
お前は入ってくるんじゃねえ。
Really not the time.
さっきから廊下で話を聞かせてもらっています。お亡くなりになられたのは4人ですか？心よりお悔やみを申し上げます。
I can't tell if you're actually upset about it or you just don't give a fuck at all. On Erika's face, no, that's not it. It was in her eyes. In Erika's eyes, I could see an indiscreet smile that was hard to describe. She found this interesting. She found the outbreak of a crime interesting. It was like the smile of a kid off. It was the smile of a kid off to the side of the stage just before her turn to appear in a school play.
すまねえな、エリカちゃん。取り込み中だ。部屋で待っててくれるか。
そういうわけには参りません。現場検証は探偵の権利ですので。
Oh my god, no one here's actually said you're a detective. You just proclaimed that yourself in the meta world. Jesus.
お前に用はないと言ってんだぜ。部外者はおとなしく引っ込んでろ。
Yeah, can the family, pay their respects and grieve for a second? No, I'm going in there. Okay.
現場検証を妨害する容疑者が犯人であるミステリーは三流。というのが私の持論ですが。
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
お前の都合など知るか。
Yeah.
出ていけ。お前なんかお呼びじゃねえ。
エリカちゃん、ほんまにすまんが部屋に戻っててくれんか。今は取り込み中なんや。
ジョージ。ジョージ。
As you can see, we're kind of busy at the moment.
どいてください。
Fuck
現
off!
場検証できません。
Fuck you!
もしそれが必要なら俺たちがするし、警察がする。
Yeah.
お前にみんなの亡骸をさらに恥ずかしめる権利なんかあるわけがねえ。
What?
探偵権限。
What? You can't speak the red in the real world.
すべての現場を検証する権利を持つ。
What? What? You saying this doesn't affect the world though? That's like, okay, and? Like, this isn't the meta. So your red truth doesn't do anything though. So what the fuck are you doing?
そこをどきなさい。後ろ宮バトラー。これは人間側に認められたゲームの正当な権利よ。
What? Authority. Why didn't Battler use this beforehand if he was the detective? I don't fucking know. I love having to write all of these down. Those words, which seemed to be utterly ridiculous at first, were words of power which had come from a world on a much higher plane than the one they were in. Which is why she can't use them. That's cheating! Battler was thrown back by an unseen power and landed on his butt. Struck silent by this quiet intensity, nobody was able to prevent Erika from entering the room, suffocated by this bizarre atmosphere. So I'm going to go ahead and say... What the hell? I had no idea. Why? Why just let her in? Besides, like, oh, he was quote-unquote forced. So it's that, like... If he's forced by a magic and something that's not of that world, that means he doesn't perceive... He perceives things through magical eyes as well. Somehow I doubt that. I doubt it. What? Well, yeah, that is, it's usually what you want to do in crime scenes. Fuck off.
だから何の権限があってだよ。
Yeah.
私が探偵だからよ。
What? Battler couldn't argue against this incomprehensible nonsense. No, he wasn't permitted to argue. It was a restriction placed on pieces. Erika summoned Dr. Nanjo and heard the details of his preliminary examination of the corpses. Normally, he wouldn't have spoken of that so casually to an outsider. However, for some reason, the atmosphere about the place began to make it feel as though nothing should be hidden from Erika.
さて、ラムダの第一の番、楽しませてもらおうかしら。死体は4つ、2つ足りないわ。
Well, yeah, there's 2 more somewhere.
まあ、6人殺す義務もないわけだけど、そういう遊びだしね。あの子、空気読める子だから、あと2人もどこかで殺してるに違いないわ。
She's somewhat clueless, just not completely. On the wall was a magic circle representing the first Twilight, similar to the ones in Beato's games. That girl talks tough, but I wonder just how closely she'll be able to imitate Beato. The Hebrew sure is creepy. It isn't written exactly right. Oh hey, how's it going? It's been a little while.
どういうこと？どうして魔法陣が？
きっとベアトリーチェ様の真似がしたかったのよ。へったくそな魔法陣。
I miss the sisters. Oh my god, it's been so long.
真似どころじゃないわよ。人間の誰かがベアトリーチェ様の仕業に見せかけるためにわざわざ書いたんだわ。とにかくベアトリーチェ様に報告を。
ゴールドスミスの秘密を守る仕事だけでもお腹いっぱいなのに迷惑な話ね。
でも全然美しくない殺人だわ。
Yeah, as Battler, I take full advantage of these sisters.
別に密室でもないし不可能犯罪でもない。
Yeah.
こんな無様な殺人ベアトリーチェ 様に全然ふさわしくないわ。
Yeah, it's far from a closed room.
フルド・エリカか。予期せぬ事件に予期せぬ女。そして19年前の予期せぬ男。
There's a lot of unexpected things happening.
気分はバトラーに解かれるし、今回のゲームは普段とまるで違う。何がどうなってるの？
No idea.
行くわよ。
はい、お姉様。
Forgot who the two other was. Was it Goda? No, it wasn't Goda. In the kitchen, Goda was preparing a wonderful breakfast at a brisk pace. Didn't he say he already had it complete or whatever? The main dish would be herb omelets. Even simple food could become an invigorating feast under Goda's skillful hands. Yeah, omelets aren't hard to make at all. He could pre-cook everything beforehand and prepare the food in the dining hall right before everyone's eyes. God damn. Goda, why aren't you on Broadway already? Goda hummed as he continued his preparations in high spirit. When Shannon, who was helping out, saw Goda like this, her mood also brightened. She arranged the salad in a neat little pattern and showed it to Goda.
こんな感じでどうでしょう。
Terrible!
トマトの感じがちょっと可愛くなったと思います。
実に良いですよ。シャノンさんもなかなか分かってまいりましたね。
The two happy people gave each other a high five. Shannon didn't like Goda when he was sneaky, but she had no problems with him when he was cooking happily. She sometimes even thought it would be nice if his contract hadn't included any jobs besides cooking. If that had been the case, he wouldn't have had to get in a bad mood doing unnecessary jobs.
食堂の準備ができましたよ。いつでも運べますからね。
もうじきですので、配膳車の準備をお願いします。
Without thinking, even Kumasawa caught Goda's high spirits. The kitchen had a very nice smell and atmosphere about it, truly refreshing for so early in the morning. And then dead bodies. Then Cannon came back in the usual bad mood he always had all day long. Jesus. Cannon and Genji were in charge of getting many things ready for the morning, such as opening the curtains. However, Cannon was alone today, so it had taken much longer than usual.
終わったよ。源氏様は？
Dead.
まだいらっしゃらないの。珍しいわね。寝坊されるなんて。
あの源氏さんでもお寝坊をね。
Genji's a fucking robot. You take that back.
親族会議の最中だというのに緊張感に欠けてますね。カノンさん、起こしてきてあげてくれませんか？
はい。
寝ぼけ眼の源氏さんってどんな顔なのかしら。私もご一緒しますよ。
Even though Goda had asked her to get the serving cart ready, Kumasawa plodded off after Cannon, skillfully skipping work. As Cannon muttered about how Goda was the one who slept in all the time, he headed for the servant waiting room.
カノンさんは今朝起こさなかったんですか？
僕は昨夜、使用人室でそのまま寝ちゃったんで、控室には戻ってないんです。
Last night, Cannon had dozed off while in the middle of his late night shift, falling asleep in the servant room. Shannon had been kind enough to put a blanket on him, but that had just made it so warm that he fell into an even deeper sleep. So he hadn't returned to his bed in the servant waiting room in the previous night, because that he hadn't met Genji even once this morning. There was a knock on the door.
源氏様、カノンです。おはようございます。
あらあら、まだお休みかしら。
失礼します。
When he tried to open the door, Cannon noticed something strange on the upper part of the door. What is this, duct tape? Oh, Frederica, burn. Something at the front. I don't know. A small strip of duct tape was stuck along the frame of the door, almost as though it was sealing the door shut. Furthermore, there were notches made with scissors along the center of the duct tape, so that if you opened the door only a slight amount, it would be torn apart. Also written sloppily across the duct tape with a thin pen was what appeared to be someone's signature. It was written in a very intricate and decorative manner, so even if it was a signature, there was no way of telling whose it was.
誰かのいたずらでしょうか。
わからないけど、こんなの今は気にして
Kick the door down.
源氏様、失礼します。
The duct tape tore apart and he opened the door. It wasn't as though anything happened when it split, so the two quickly forgot about that strange duct tape.